so then there was like the bus stop, and what's cool as well is like I didn't feel like normally, do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? I've just worked it out. We're starting to be able to carry an embodied sense of safety, because that's why I'd get feelings of helplessness and feel young and have to attach to some external source or comfort or person to make us feel better. Because I was just about to say, like, there were some old people stood at one bus stop, and there were two bus stops in a row, and they were stood at the one that he was like, it's this one at first. And therefore I would feel like anchored, like some place that I'd had some familiarity or some certainty, or like now that we've gone to that cafe and once sitting there for a little bit, it could feel difficult to leave. Like everywhere I'd anchored in, found something of comfort or reassurance, I would usually feel like it was difficult to leave there because I had experienced some security, some stability there. And I I found it much easier to feel I had a sense of presence. He had a sense of presence. We had like a sense of weight and security within us, and little moments like where in the past I'd be like feeling like I had to be stood right there, like what if a bus comes, or like, oh no, I just don't want to move, what if it looks too conspicuous, or like I look weird, for many reasons that my brain would justify to me, I would feel like I had to stay in this one place. And I've just realized it's because when you don't feel safe at all, when you feel completely unsafe, you just like limp it on to any sense of security and stability and safety in your environment, and then it's really hard to let go of that and move from that. But instead we were limpited, attached onto us, and could therefore feel the weight of us as security, of comfort, the presence of us. We weren't just hollowly ghosting around, attaching to anything with some sort of security, because we were carrying that security with ourselves. So little moments like a bus went to the bus stop past us, and I thought, I want to check that bus just to see. So I went and asked that driver, and there was nothing stopping. Like, I was a bit anxious and a bit like, oh, talking to a person. And like, yeah, I definitely felt a bit like awe about it. But I could move, and I didn't feel like I was leaving something behind, or like like the feeling that you've lost something. Have I got everything with me? That feeling, I felt like I was carrying everything we had and everything we needed, and we were just very whole feeling, and therefore could move without having to feel attached or anchored or limpited, even though I still felt the pull to do that. But like, yeah, it felt more fluid. Now I've just realized what it is. We're starting to embody and carry a sense of safety with us. That's very fucking cool. That's very fucking cool. Holy shit. And it really frees you up a lot for like being able to move around and do things. Like that makes a big difference for whether or not I can do something even so small as like I went into one cafe before that one, and I looked at the food they had and stuff, and I went, no, I don't really feel like this. And normally I'd be like, I'm here now, I can't leave because I've just walked in, that would look weird. But I didn't. I felt the go to think that, and I thought, no, I don't want any of this stuff. So we went to the other one, and that was a far better choice. And like, I am free to make more fluid and more genuine and therefore more beneficial and self-serving choices, because I'm not like restrained to what feels like I need to just self-preserve our safety with. Like, looking weird doesn't feel safe. It's not just about being awkward. Not for me as a trauma survivor anyway, I don't know about other people, but for us, it's not like, oh, I can't leave now, that'll look weird. It's not a light level, it's like people might hurt us, we might look vulnerable, and this may get us into a situation of not thinking about it, but all of that looming, horrible, dark shit that lives in our fucking past and is branded in our nervous system, that tends to be what we expect will happen. So it's like, it's a big thing not feeling safe enough to do something like go and check the bus in case, I don't know, but we could. It still felt, it wasn't simple, it wasn't like complete, it was a bit like moving through water, but normally it would be like moving through cement, not doable. So That is a massive fucking improvement. Dude. I've never felt that, like, need to limp it on and attach. I've always felt like, yeah, like I'm carrying myself with me, I've got everything I need. I don't do the attached to things. But I do get awful hyper-vigilant about shit. I can't relax. I feel like I've got to be on guard all the time. I think there were moments where I felt a little, I could engage with you slightly more than I was looking over our shoulder. That's fucking new. So my experience of it's different to yours. And it is something I'm experiencing too, now you mention it. That doesn't surprise me, yeah. It would make sense that you'd have a different experience. I just started feeling like we got a rush. I realised that could mean my trauma brain is activated. I realised that acknowledging, like, all of the dark shit even exists is probably... that's probably giving me more to work with. We're safe. And capable. And very capable. Thank you. You're very welcome. And then, like, this person that we spoke to on the bus, they were very nice, and I didn't feel like I needed to, like, I felt the pull to be like, now that I know this person, like, this attachment to, like, cling to them and not leave. And we were walking together for quite a while because we happened to be in the same place in this emo-filled bus, which was fucking beautiful. There was so many, the seats were all filled, we were crammed in like sardines. The bus driver was very sassy, and like a couple more sort of alt-dressed people were at a bus stop at one point, and they looked on in disappointment and dread, and he was like, and they were like, oh, you can't really take any more people, can you? And he was like, well, technically I can have at least 40 people standing, so I can. Everyone scooch down, and like everyone just moved down and crumpled up more, and they got on, and it was like, it was really nice, sort of a little triggering being that close to most people, but we were around femme-presenting people, probably intentionally now that I think about it, so I wasn't that uncomfortable. Not that femme-presenting people are entirely non-triggering, but like it's different, so just people in general. I'm not saying it was easy, also it was very cool in places. I think that was one of the only points where I regretted the really woolly, thick jacket and was like, this is a pain. I would like to tie it around my waist, but I could not without hitting people. So we were like, this is probably still a good choice. Still not going to regret the jacket. I didn't, by the way. It was the perfect temperature most of the day. But yeah, this person like was on the bus with us, was in the line with us. But when we were in the line with them, I had one moment where we had been talking because it had cut we were naturally talking. And then another thing that was really cool was they asked where we were from, and I said, we are from Birmingham. They definitely looked a little confused and didn't ask for further explanation, but I did not abandon our reality, despite it obviously being terrifying and uncomfortable. And that happened a few times. I addressed us correctly and genuinely, and we continued to speak to each other within earshot of this person, and whenever we spoke to them after they were fine. They looked a little confused. I want to get a badge or something to put on our hat that explains this, so people, because if I don't enjoy the idea of making other people uncomfortable. I think that it's good to desensitize people to the presentation of being multiple and us, so that we can live in a world and so that generations to come can live in a world where this is accepted. Also, the smoother a transition I can make this for the people that we encounter, the better. So I would actually like to have some sort of pin or badge or patch or something that said, like, yes, we're talking to each other. Yes, we have, or yes, we are a system of trauma survivors. And when we're diagnosed, it'll be like, yes, we have DID, because I'm so sure it's DID, but I've decided to try and change our wording until we're diagnosed, to be respectful of the diagnosis process and to be genuine about everything. It just feels better. So I'm like, suspected DID. But yeah, it was interesting. And like, I didn't normally, I feel like pulled to shut everything we're feeling down inside. Not, I can't hear anyone. It's like I get bubbled, just the whole system and everyone with me inside, and me just a little bubble on the outside, attuning to the person around me. And I could pull myself away from that and back to us, so he didn't get blocked out or disappear, despite the fact that I was engaging with other people.
Very good. Very impressed. I did, however, get I think I got uncomfortable about being visible, and that freaks me the fuck out. And the fact that that freaks me the fuck out, because I ain't usually feeling this sort of shit. I guess, you know, I sort of worked this out when we were on the train back. After a couple of experiences we had, it's like, fuck. I'm not completely disconnected and cold and unfeeling anymore. And actually I am affected by trauma. Little things like, it was, normally I'd speak, I'd move, I'd do whatever the fuck around people. I don't care if they see me, I don't care if they see me be different to you. I still, in terms of, like, my values, I don't care. I believe in that. Also, apparently my fucking brain does care. I felt very... my heart sped up. Felt like I was about to jump off the edge of a fucking cliff into a river again or something. It's like the moments of thrill-seeking that I've come to appreciate and like. But with, instead of it making me want to jump, it made me want to recline. Sort of pulled me back a little. It was kind of difficult to fight. I didn't love that. That was a fucking pain in the ass.
I'm really fucking impressed that you acted completely the same as you usually do then.
I didn't seem at all more, no, I didn't, did I? I didn't act differently through it. It felt different. There was one place where it affected my actions, and I did not like that.
I know when you're thinking of as well, you even said at the time.
Yeah, that pisses me off still. But yeah.
Like, we were walking next to this person, we'd just been speaking, and we went to, like, well, I got whisked left to cross the road, and I was like, oh, here, and they kind of looked, and he was like, yeah, here's as good a place as any, and I was just like, you terrify me. He crossed the road, and they crossed the road a few minutes after, or like a few seconds after. Felt like minutes with the anxiety racing for being so fucking visible. Man. And then we're at the lines, I think.